Alachua, Florida, home of the Good Life community, and every 4th of July it's also home to the self-proclaimed largest small-town fireworks display in America. For the last 13 years, it's a feat that's been made possible by a team of dedicated men who appropriately call themselves the detonators.
It's being a little kid, you get to be a little kid and continue to do the things you did, when you were running around blowing up mailboxes with cherry bombs and stuff like that.
Chuck Gork is one of the founding members of the group, and yes, he's long outgrown his desire for mischief. Instead, he and the rest of the team's sights are set on just that, the sights.
Seeing all the little kids running around, enjoying the show and, getting all excited about it, it's fun.
But to get to that point is no simple task. It's a story that comes back to this street behind me and end of the world fever.
My birthday is July 2nd, and my good friend Chuck Gork's birthday is July 3rd, and he was a neighbor at the time, and we decided to have a birthday celebration.
What was once meant as a one-time celebration, Fred Hilton says, sparked the birth of the detonators.
The show started getting bigger and bigger, and the crowd started getting bigger and bigger.
Shortly after, a third man joined the group, Bill Gillick.
All the people that are coming, the majority of them, we know them or we see them every year.
It's the same popularity that attracted the city at the turn of the millennia when they approached the team to put on the show to end all shows, or so was the thought at the time.
We figured if it was going to end, we might as well go out with a bang.
Their own fuse having run out, the boys nearly called it quits afterwards. But since the world didn't end, the city asked if they'd be willing to do it for America's birthday.
He was willing to do it, and 13 years later, they're still doing it for us.
And then,
as you probably guessed, the arsenal the group uses goes far beyond the stuff you'll find being sold on the side of the road. Instead, they travel to Osteen, Florida to collect professional-grade stuff like this.
This is a 5-inch shell, about 550 feet up in the air, and it'll make a beautiful willow effect.
And yes, you do need special licenses and permits to buy these.
There's a lot of course, because of the fact that they are very dangerous, a lot of federal guidelines we have to follow.
You ready?
But it doesn't mean they don't have a little fun within those rules. The night before the show, the detonators take the explosives to the Hal Brady Rec Center in Alachua, home of the 4th of July show, where they test out some of the products.
We're going to blow a bunch of these off tomorrow.
Can you hear that? That's a firework.
After the fun, the real work begins the next day starting at 6 a.m. What looks like smoke is actually a light fog that blankets the field as one by one the rest of the detonators meet up to begin the most important part of the day. After a quick meeting, it's time to load the shells into their respective homes. This is the easy part. As the sun rises, the team moves to the next task, which is where it gets tedious. It's a process called squibbing, which basically means fusing the fireworks so they can be remotely detonated later. It's a quiet process as the team uses Zen-like focus to ensure that they do it right and make sure they don't accidentally set one off. As the sun sets and crowds gather, Fred and the rest of the guys gather for last-minute inspections and a quick prayer.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Then, it's showtime. After a successful night, it's time for celebration and, believe it or not, planning for next year's show. Fred says it's come a long way from a house party celebration.
Never in our wildest dreams.
Every year, some 30,000 plus come out to Alachua to see the booms of their labor. As for the detonators' grand finale, Fred and company say don't count on it anytime soon.
As long as I'm physically able, I'll continue doing this.
Doesn't get any more patriotic than that. George Solis, GTN News, working for you.